States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice of this meeting was provided by the Westfield Leader and Union County Local Source advertised on January 7th, 2016. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and promptly posted on the Municipal Public Bulletin Board and filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk. According to public and time affairs, according to provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, P.O. 1975. And if you want, please shut off the vibrating electronic devices. Roll call.
Mayor Lombardo.
Here.
Councilman Kukrow.
Here.
Councilman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Matthew.
Here.
Councilman Sarno.
Here.
Councilman Tedisco. Here. And Council President Petrozelli.
Here. On to minutes. Got a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sariema Communications.
New Jersey State League of Municipalities Mayor's Advisories.
Receive and file.
Mr. Bruce Patterson, Redevelopment.
Receive and file.
Torrey Valley Sewage Authority Minutes.
Receive and file.
Broward Recreation Commission Minutes.
Receive and file.
And Broward Planning Board Minutes.
Receive and file. Ordinances. Public hearing on ordinance 16-10 and 16-11 as advertised on June 16, 2016. Ms. Ariema, please read ordinance 16-10 by title only.
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance to amend Article 1, Establishment, Organization, and Administration in Chapter 34, Police Department, to designate the mayor as the appropriate authority for the police department pursuant to NJSA 4814-118, and to amend administrative procedures pertaining to the police department.
Have you received any correspondence?
None, Mayor.
Is anyone present wish to be heard on ordinance 16-10? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 16-10?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 16-10?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 16-10.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Sorry.
Councilman Kukrow.
Oh, wait, could I, discussion, I'm sorry. I was trying to be a gentleman.
Sorry.
Just real quick, I just want, as I expressed to Police Commissioner Sarno, this is, in all due respect to you, Mayor, I'm a legislator at heart. I really jealously guard our prerogative here, and this has nothing to do with you as mayor. I'm going to be voting against this tonight. I just want to keep as much authority vested in the council. And I do understand that the police commissioner did research on this, and this is the trend in Union County, the majority in Union County. But again, like I said, just as a jealous legislator, I'm going to be voting against this.
Thank you.
I don't have to speak, I just figured I was going to vote against it anyway, so he took the words out of my mouth.
Okay.
And that's with all due respect, obviously.
And as I've indicated to Councilman Matthew, I feel this is a more efficient way to go through the police force, and that's what I'm all about, is efficiency in government. And that's why I brought forth the ordinance with the help of the committee, and that's why we're here to vote on it.
Thank you, council. Roll call, please, Ms. Ariema.
Councilman Kukrow.
No.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthew.
No.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedisco.
Aye.
Council President Petrozelli.
Aye. Ms. Ariema, please read ordinance 16-11 by title only.
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance fixing salaries and wages of certain officials and employees of Borough of Broward and Union State of New Jersey.
Do you receive any correspondence?
None, Mayor.
Is anyone present wish to be heard on concerning ordinance 16-11? Patterson.
Good evening, Mr. General Counsel, Bruce Patterson, 325. Just more for information and questions. About the fifth one, sixth one down, Chief Financial Officer / Treasurer / Assistant Administrator, minimum $78,000, maximum $88,000. Is that 3 people, or is that just one person with 3 hats?
That's one person.
That's their title at this point? Okay.
Not a hashtag.
A lot of hats. almost like a private sector. Council members and the mayor, minimum $0 and maximum $2,000. That I appreciate from the budget cycle, that, this zero shows up, and that was part of the cost savings measures. I appreciate everybody voting and agreeing on that. The maximum range, I think, still stays the same from last year, and I would assume the stipends could easily go up, I guess, next year. Well, it could be low. Okay. The second page, fifth one down, part-time clerical municipal office, $8.38 per hour. I haven't been paying attention to minimum wage, but is that what the minimum wage rate is? $8.38?
I thought it was in the sevens.
It's in the sevens?
Oh, no, it's at least that, if not more.
It is?
Yeah. I think it's 8:38, it may have gone to
Maybe
8:50.
You mean
Minimum
the
wage.
New Jersey minimum wage?
Yeah.
Because New Jersey
Yeah.
is higher now than the federal.
Yeah, well, this would be in Jersey.
Yeah, so obviously.
But there's no one in that position, it's just on there,
But shouldn't that reflect at least minimum wage? No?
I think 8:38 is minimum
I
wage.
think it is too.
Oh, wow,
Thank
that's
you.
right.
For New Jersey, yeah, and it's right around the corner, I believe. The actual-
Oh, that's right, it's on the wall.
On the wall, by law.
That's correct.
As I'm being thrown out, I'll take a look. Registrar, a couple of, Registrar of Vital Statistics, and then near the bottom, Shade Tree Officer, are 4,000, 5,000, 3,000, 5,000. Are these stipends or are these actually salaries? Because this is a salary ordinance.
Their salaries, all salaries.
Are they all salaries? So when they're added
We
in,
don't pay employees stipends,
no?
Right, you can't,
salaries.
can't get a W-2 and 1099.
Okay. So I would assume that this money then goes towards the pension credits also.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 16-11?
So moved.
Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 16-11?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 16-11.
Second. Discussion.
Who said second?
John,
Thank you.
I just have a quick question. As far as the increase, if it starts at a certain amount of money, is it a certain amount of years for the maximum as far as the increase goes? Is it broken up per year? How is that done?
This is a salary ordinance.
Right.
But you also have a salary resolution on the agenda. That sets everyone's individual salary by name, title for the year 2016. This is just a range.
Guideline
Yeah, this range says that you can pay X position.
to the maximum amount on
Yeah,
it.
in that range. And
Okay.
if you want to exceed that maximum, then that ordinance gets adjusted. And that's what the highlighted areas were adjusted. The rest of it didn't need adjustments. And the ranges were good.
Okay, also on the mayor and council stipend. I thought that was, why is there still an amount of money to collect? If this was not totally done as an ordinance so that it wouldn't come up again in different administration?
A different administration,
They could change it.
I think we got to vote it down. In fact, everyone elected to take care of
well, to answer your question, the next council would have to raise that money back in the budget. Then this ordinance says zero to what's the other side?
Well, is there any way that that could be not done in the foreseeable future?
It doesn't matter. I mean, from what you're saying is you would want to prevent future councils
Correct,
from doing that.
from putting the
But you
stipend
can't.
back in.
You can't prevent them from doing that regardless of what this says. They could just change this too. And now it's already done, so to undo it, it's already sent to the, on the agenda tonight.
Amend the ordinance.
Can the ordinance be amended to, but I mean.
But then you
stop
have
it?
to do, I mean,
At this point, it's already past introduction.
right, it already went to the newspaper,
Right.
so it's gonna cost you more money to do something that's not gonna have any impact. Any council can change something you did next year. You can't
So,
stop that.
I guess I'm just wanting, I guess the question I have is how can it be stopped totally, like forever in the future? Nothing can be done that way?
Can't bind it, can't bind it.
That's correct.
No, that's a bummer.
But, I mean, they would have to raise that money. This piece of paper is the easy part. They would have to impact taxes to put that back in there. You took it out of the budget.
Right.
That I've seen councils take things out, I really haven't ever seen them go back in.
Oh, really? You watch national government lately?
I'm talking about this council, I'm talking about this job.
Any further
I'm
discussion?
talking about this job, this job.
Any further
This here.
discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none, roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Okay. Councilman Kukrow.
No.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco.
Aye.
Council President Petrozelli.
Aye. Moving on, Ms. Ariano, please read ordinance 16-12 by title only.
And bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of new, additional, or replacement equipment and machinery in, by, and for the borough of Garwood in the county of Union, state of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $38,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Okay.
Do I have a motion to introduce ordinance 16-12?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Kukrow.
No.
Councilman Martin.
No.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Abstain.
Councilman Tedesco.
No.
Council President Petrozelli.
No.
Okay. That ordinance is not passed.
Did you recap the votes?
Councilman Kukrow, no. Martin, no. Matthew, yes. Sarno, abstain. Tedesco and Petrozelli, no. Are you therefore now directing the attorney?
Can we do that at this point?
I don't know.
Mr. Renata, can we do that at this point?
Yes, we're on the capital, I thought.
16-12?
Yes, we're on 16-12, yes, you want that we prepare a capital ordinance to do this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll send you
Do we
particulars
need
tomorrow, Bob.
do we need an official vote?
No, but if you tell me to do it, I'll do
Okay, I
it.
want to make sure.
Yes, we need that.
Ordinance or resolution?
Ordinance, it has to be done by ordinance.
So we need two readings.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Okay, Ms. Ariano, read ordinance 16-13 by title only.
An ordinance to establish a restricted parking zone pursuant to NJSA 39:197.6 in front of 346 Willow Avenue in the Borough of Garwood.
I have a motion to introduce ordinance 16-13.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 16-13, Mayor.
Second.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Kukrow.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco.
Aye.
And Council President Petrozelli.
Aye. Thank you. Moving on to council standing committee reports and other reports. Police, Councilman Sino.
Thank you, Mayor. Garwood Public Schools finished for the year on June 17th, and our surrounding communities wrap up this week on the 24th, which has since passed. With this, our kids will be more active during the day, and our police would like to remind drivers to be alert for their presence and their activities. The Garwood Recreation Program began Monday at the Sports and Athletic Field Complex from 9 a.m. to noon. Again, we would like to bring this to everyone's attention and ask that parents be extra careful when dropping off or picking up your kids in that area. Residents planning a vacation may register with the police department to have their property physically checked while they're away. An officer will do a walk-around check of your property as part of our patrol activities. Any resident who wishes to participate may go to the forms page of the police website, www.garwoodpd.org, and fill out a vacant house check form and submit to the dispatch desk. Unfortunately, Garwood is not immune from the poisons that continue to plague our communities. Recently, the police department received a thank you note from the parents of a resident who was saved twice in a 24-hour period from a narcotic overdose by using the Narcan nasal agent. This victim lived to see another day and continues to fight the demons via a structured treatment program. Saves such as this would not be possible without the opiate counter acting agent Narcan. Chief Underhill would like to again, to thank the Greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce for their donation, which we received at the last meeting. That donation has been used to purchase additional doses of the Narcan agent. The department continues its proactive measures to battle illegal drug use in Gardner. And that's all.
Thank you, Councilman. Any comments on the report?
Quick question, how much do those doses go for? Do you know how much they go for?
I don't know in my head.
Chief, do you know?
Yes, when they first came out, they were about $20 per dose. Because of R&D and success, and only one company doing it, putting these out, they are up to almost $50.
$50 per
Per
dose.
dose.
And one dose is usually good enough for
2 doses.
2 doses. Just curious.
Any further comments from the council? Hearing none, public health, Councilwoman Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. A lot of the meeting that we spent last week was talking about the Zika virus, where there are most prevalent ramifications, what to do to avoid an issue, etc. As we all know, and they stated, it's mosquito season, and there have been a lot of calls about concerns. I never knew it, but Union County has a committee for tracking in a program for this. They said they actually do a great job on the bug front and tracks and tests twice a week at the current time. The county works hand in hand with the Westfield Board of Health, as we do also, so they're totally on top of everything to pass along to us. Next week, they'll be rolling out a more intense Zika awareness program. They stressed over and over and over that they greeted the most unlikely spots for anybody out there: toys, tires, and even small things like a bottle cap. Of course, stagnant pool water is where they definitely manifest themselves, so water should be dumped and replaced. Also discussed was that it is rat season. Good grief, rats and bugs. I wonder if the rats can eat the bugs and alleviate some of the virus spreading all over the place. Residents had blood pressure screening. There were only 5 vaccinations recorded, which she said was on the light side as per the norm. School records were inspected for vaccinations and the school was 100% compliant. They're also working diligently on a bicycle helmet program. They ran out of helmets and do not want to turn anyone down that may need them for their children. That's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments? I do have one.
Okay, about the rats and the bugs.
Now, about the mosquito control.
Yeah.
I work with that division in the county, and they're willing to give them a time span to provide a presentation to a group such as the seniors. I know it's not a report now, but we can look into that.
Are you going to look into that?
We could look.
Okay, we'll look into
I'll
that.
initiate
Okay.
it and I'll contact you.
That'll be perfect.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be great.
Thank you.
Okay.
And on the helmets, they give them out, car seat division, they give out.
She said they ran out of them, and she didn't want to keep giving, have somebody in line that was waiting for a helmet, and some kid would have gotten left out. So that's why they're working on. So who's ever getting them, they wouldn't have to turn anybody away, like the last kid in line.
Okay, thank you. Streets and Roads Ecology Council President, Giselle.
Thank you, Mayor. The Department of Public Works completed the following from June 15th through June 28th. The recurring activities were performed with garbage maintenance and more. Additional activities that were performed: they performed daily street sweeping operations in various areas throughout the borough. Posted areas were swept the day before for no parking. Sweeping operations have been completed in the entire south side of the borough. Installed the 4 turf field advisory signs at the Sports and Recreation Complex. Set up the tents and moved the tables at the Sports and Recreation Complex for the annual senior picnic. Set up tables at the firehouse for the picnic due to inclement weather. Weed all mulch beds and trim all shrubs, trees at the Sports and Recreation Complex, Hartman Park, and at Borough Hall. Remove graffiti from the concrete abutment on the Center Street underpass. Inspect the entire water system at the Sports and Recreation Complex irrigation building for leaks. Remove bamboo and weeds from along the brook within the borough right-of-ways in various locations. That's all for my report.
Thank you, Council President. Any comments on the report?
The only comment I have, Lou, did you hear anything about any possible leaks at the recreation center? And what was done to address it?
I know that early on, there was an issue with the sprinkler system when it was first turned on. That was months ago. That was back in April. But they haven't had any other leaks since then. And as far as the sprinkler system, that had only been turned on about maybe 30 to 45 days ago.
Okay.
So I know that they didn't find anything now.
Okay, it's only water in the outfield, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's only watering the baseball field and the grass fields. That's it. But we do have other water that's on the soccer field itself, and they are still working on getting that water up and running.
That's my next question.
Okay, Joe? Moving on, fire, Councilwoman Kukrow.
Thank you, Mayor. At a special meeting held on June 13, 2016, with a quorum, present, the membership of Liberty Hose Company Number 1 by Garland Fire Department accepted the membership application from Nicholas Dakowitz. Hope I'm not mutilating that. It was, yeah, I know. Ignore the rest of that.
I didn't last night.
Yeah, he gave it to me, I double.
And you know what, he gave it to me the day of the council meeting, I put on the report.
And I already had it.
Okay, ladies?
Thank you.
Thank you. Finance, Councilwoman Tedesco.
Thank you, Mayor. The Finance Committee unanimously recommends the council adopt Resolution 16-229 on tonight's consent agenda. We discussed potential salary increases for non-union employees at our last Finance Committee meeting. First, we agreed to allocate 1.5 percentage raises for the 3 non-union workers who are protected by state statute, as well as the chief of police. Additionally, we are proud that we worked together to adjust the process specifically for non-union, non-protected workers. Our goal as legislators was to put more control in the hands of the administrators that best understand the day-to-day operations of their departments. However, as elected officials, we of course wanted to ensure that guidelines were provided. So in essence, we gave each department head overseeing non-union unprotected workers a pool of funds for them to allocate who would receive which amount. The resolution before you tonight reflects an even distribution for non-union, non-protected workers at 1.5%, which was recommended by the respective department heads in line with the employee evaluations they've conducted. And that's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to Buildings and Grounds, Councilman Matthews.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Laws and License, Councilman Martin.
Yes, Mayor. Tonight there are 3 applications for raffle licenses. The Laws and License Committee recommends the following: the adoption of Resolution 16-266, the application of 3 on-premise 50/50 raffle licenses to be drawn November 16th, 2016, March 8th, 2017, and May 31st, 2017, at the Westwood, 438 North Avenue, Garland, New Jersey, by Union Catholic Regional High School. That is all from my report.
Thank you, sir. Any comments on the report? Moving on, Recreation, Councilman Martin. Thank you. Garwood Senior Citizens Liaison, Councilwoman Kukrow.
Thank you, Mayor. The group wanted me to thank everyone that came to the rededication for the Garwood Complex. They thought it was a great turnout. Ellen Steinberg from the Senior Citizen Council came and spoke to the group about the senior newsletter. She stated it has been delivered sporadically in the past, and she assured everyone that she was going to bring them to each meeting. I handed out the June lunch menus from Kenilworth Senior Group that Tony supplied to me. I am printing the menu for July to hand out the next meeting. As I said before, she's going to send them to me monthly so I can keep everyone in the loop as far as the choices for food goes. The senior picnic was indoors this year due to the impending rain. As is the usual, it did not rain. It was a very nice turnout, even with it being indoors. The mayor and Carol attended. There was a DJ for entertainment who brought his very cute children that made nice conversation with everyone in the room. Freeholder Betty Jane Kowalski stopped by to speak to the group and stayed for a bit. She mentioned the senior initiative, Seniors in Motion, for the 21 municipalities. It's a paratransit system to help seniors with transportation. I was very happy to see the county giving back some of those zillions of tax dollars to the townships whose pockets have been getting picked yearly. I did introduce myself and said this is something very good for the group. We traded cards. I said I'd be very interested in more info to pass along. She said she will get back to me right away. I'm still waiting. I located some info myself while I waited and did find the particulars, so I'm happy to pass this along to Mayor Lombardo. I have it for you.
That's what's coming in your Friday packet.
I'm one step ahead. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, I have it. It will be the decision of mayors of each town if they want to partake in this. I thought it was a wonderful opportunity for the Garland seniors. Paulette, the senior director, brought leftover burgers and hot dogs to Borough Hall and the police department. Some of the seniors wanted to take some leftovers home. Paulette said due to health concerns with leftovers, they were not allowed to take it home. She did mention lawsuits in case someone got sick, but to me, although that sounds valid, it was a shame to see the food being dumped in the garbage, especially the food that would not spoil, like the salads. I spoke to the Kenilworth senior president. She said it was a correct procedure if the food was supplied by the county. I know that was not the case as it was paid for by Garwood. She also said it depends on if grant money was used for the food, and that would be an issue as well. So I will call Tanya Moon to see what the case study is for leftovers by the Board of Health. Maybe Tina, you can let me know if it's even possible. This is funny, I'm making myself laugh. If it's even possible to break down the grant money for food for an event. Maybe futile, but throwing food out when there are people back to partake seems crazy to me. Okay, one of the group was very unhappy as Cranford was cleaning the brook, but Mayor and I spoke about it, and they went there to clean it up over by Fifth Avenue, so I can omit that. A resident also complained about a police van parked on Oak all the time when the owner has a very nice driveway. He also wanted to know what the ordinance was for this type of vehicle. I know that can be left to Chief Underhill, because it's the same truck that's parked there all the time.
And what was that location again?
On Oak over there down towards Fourth. It's a, you see it every day, right?
I do.
Yeah, so I think it's something to do with the weight of it. I don't know.
Okay, third.
Oak and Third, yeah, almost down, right in between Fourth and Third. Right. Someone else told me there is a missing street sign on the corner of West and Myrtle that I drive by. I did, and yes, it is in fact missing. I assume someone is working on this street sign for West and Myrtle. Finally, the group said they would love a new round table. The same ones that have been ordered in the past, they said Tina would know. It can no longer be patched together. They showed it to me, and I concur, the glue is no longer holding, and it is very, very, very broken. So can this be done in a timely manner?
You mean for the fire department?
Yeah, it's one, place one,
I'll speak to the fire chief. Okay, Mayor, that's it?
former mayor.
It's up against the wall, it's not sitting out now, it's against the wall. I inspected it, it's like, and get another one for there? They want it. Oh, they need a second. They showed me what it was in the back.
So, if according to me, there's always a missing space for that table to be in. So, okay. Thank you.
Okay. That's all for my report, Mayor. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you. Any comments on the report? Hearing none. Library Mayor's Representative, Councilman President Petrozelli.
Thank you, Mayor. So far, 33 children have signed up for the library's 22nd Annual Summer Reading Club. Our first summer reading event, the Mad Science Physics Olympics Assembly, was attended by 325 children. This past Wednesday at the library was our first Wacky Olympic Wednesdays, WOW, which tug of war and parachute games. Our next WOW will be the straw javelin throw and a paper airplane toss on Wednesday, July 6th at 2 p.m. The library will also be showing movies every other Wednesday at 2. Movies will include Zootopia on June 29th, Kung Fu Panda 3 on July 13th, and Eddie the Eagle on July 27th. This Thursday, kids will be making coffee can slits at 2 p.m. every Thursday. In July will be Lego Club. On July 12th at 2 p.m., the library will present You Are Who You Eat. This program will feature frogs, scorpions, snakes, and turtles. Kids will learn how these animals find and catch their food and how they avoid becoming food for other animals. We are also participating in the State Library and Chipotle's Summer Reading Initiative. A good read deserves a good feed. Any child logging in at 2 hours of summer reading or signed up for summer reading and participating in summer reading activities will receive a coupon for one free Build Your Own Kids meal. In addition, any child logging 2 hours of reading will also get to draw a prize from the library's prize box. Summer hours for the library will begin the week of Monday, June 27th. The weekday hours of the library will remain unchanged. However, the library will be closed on Saturdays during July and August. Regular Saturday hours will begin again on Saturday, September 10th after Labor Day. That's all for my report.
Thank you, Council President. Any comments on the library report? Seeing none, School Board Liaison, Councilman Sarno.
Thanks, Mayor. Lincoln School's 8th grade graduation was held Friday, June 17th, and 32 Garwoodians closed the book on their junior high years and will disembark on the next chapter of their young careers at ALJ. It was a wonderful evening that I'm sure the graduates will remember, and I wish them the best of luck next year. The next meeting of the board is going on concurrently tonight at Lincoln School, and the following meeting will be Tuesday, August 16th at Lincoln School at 7:30. That's all for my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Any comments on the School Board Liaison report? Seeing none, celebrations of public event and holidays liaison, Councilwoman Tedesco.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the last meeting of the Celebrations Committee on June 15th. Movie Under the Stars this year will be on Friday, September 9th at dusk, with a rain date of the following day, September 10th. The movie will be Minions. Thank you to Spencer Savings Bank, the Greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce, and the borough for sponsoring this event. That's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none. Union County Air Traffic Noise Advisory Board, Representative Councilman Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. We had our third quarter meeting last night. Apparently, people have been noticing an uptick in basically air traffic noise in the area, particularly in Cranford. I don't know if anybody around here has been noticing that. I'm oblivious to it, so please let me know or let someone up here know. I'm also just not home during the day. What they expect, what our chairman thinks is, the planes are supposed to go to a navigation point before they make a turn to go west, and he thinks that they're not doing that anymore, and that they're actually turning right around Cranford, which is near us. And there's been a marked increase in noise complaints. So I would encourage anyone to contact me for Port Authority. You could go ahead and you could file a complaint. Apparently, the number of complaints, who's complaining, you know, if somebody's putting 8,000 complaints, they tend to ignore it. But if there's a number of complaints that are concentrated in an area and are from different people, that will cause them to go ahead and pursue it. So I do encourage people, if they are hearing this, to go ahead and encourage, to go ahead and file a noise complaint with the Port Authority, or encourage your neighbors to do so. That's all from my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Any comments on the report?
That was exciting, Councilman. It's the first air traffic control thing I heard.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I learned that United represents about 2/3 of the flights out of Newark, which I did not know. There are less planes, but they tend to be bigger. And you know what I found out? It's all time, fuel, and money. And, you know, going ahead and turning a few minutes early can add up to huge amounts of money. So, you know, if they go ahead and can get away with that, and people are bothered by it, then so be it. So we have to guard that.
Thank you. Administrative Review Committee, Councilwoman Tedesco.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Historical Committee, Councilwoman Tedesco.
Thank you, Mayor. As we had noted in the past, the Hartman sign has been missing for some time, and the Hartman relatives have requested that the borough replace it, since the park is in honor of past councilman and borough volunteer, Mr. Harry E. Hartman. The task was placed on the Garwood Historical Committee, and through the funding of the Hartman family, the committee has obtained a great replacement sign and set up a small ceremony, which will take place on Saturday, June 9th at 11 a.m. at Hartman Park to dedicate the sign being replaced. In attendance will be the Hartman relatives, dignitaries such as the mayor and council, the Board of Education, and the Garwood Historical Committee. And that's all for my report, Mayor.
Councilwoman, slight correction, July.
July 2. Okay. Oh, I said June?
Yeah. Any comments?
July.
On the report? Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to office report.
Chief of Police Bruce Underhill, monthly report for May 2016.
Do you have a motion to accept the officer's report?
So moved, Mayor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the mayor and council? Please step to the microphone, state your full name and address. Please limit your conversation to 3 minutes.
Mark Lazaro, 511 Myrtle. I just had a question in regards to the ordinance 1612 that you guys just voted on, and I just was really directed to Councilman Matthew in terms of just wanted to know what your rationale for why you decided to vote in favor of that particular ordinance, if that was something that, you know, was agreed upon by the fact that if it was actually decided that you didn't go forward with that ordinance, that you would have been paying cash and not have to pay out interest. So I was just wondering if you could give us some justification for why you voted for that, if there was clearly an idea to actually pay for that particular ordinance with cash in a different line item. So that's basically my question.
Mayor? That's because these are my opponents and.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a question.
Okay, all right. Mark, what I'm gonna do is, I don't wanna subject people here to the campaign. Let's keep the campaign outside the room.
It's
And
not a
we could-
campaign.
Excuse me, sir, I'm not supposed to.
Okay, gentlemen.
Okay, I'll keep, if we can just keep the campaign outside the room. If you're truly interested in my rationale, I'll talk to you after the meeting.
I don't see why that the rationale actually has anything to do with the campaign. You made a vote, has everything to do with deciding on how you're going to make a decision. I think everyone deserves to know why you decided to vote, but if you decide that that's the case, then obviously I can't force you to answer, but it just seems.
As the councilman, he doesn't care to answer, and I think it's a valid point.
Fair enough, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes. Where's your binder?
My who?
Your binder.
Oh, my binder. Oh, was I bringing it up?
Yeah.
I'll go get it. But anyway, good evening, Mayor Lombardo, ladies and gentlemen of the council, Bruce Patterson, 325 Willow Avenue. And actually, I do remember, to Mr. Lazaro's question, I'm not going to give the answer, but actually, Councilman Matthew actually did answer back whenever it was brought up the first time, when I was talking about there possibly was alternatives. And he did give his answer.
Okay.
So,
That's fine.
there is an answer out there.
I think that's up to Councilman Matthew to discuss that.
Sure, okay.
That's a good point, if I could just say, Mr. Lazaro wasn't at that meeting, but thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, you remember the answer?
Mr. Patterson.
Oh, yes,
Please.
I did ask the
I think we
council.
should be throwing barbs from the dais either.
I did ask for a possible resolution about doing a 20% grant match or 25% grant.
Yes, that.
Okay, I hope you're taking it under consideration. And Jen, tonight was actually going to be the first reading of the redevelopment plan. Attorney Renaud actually gave the explanation, which I understood, of course. But I did write a letter in being proactive towards this redevelopment plan that's coming up for a vote sooner or later, and a public meeting. But anyway, I wanted to at least get this idea out there to the council for them, for their consideration, and it's that the council is actually, the council responds to the residents because they're elected officers. The planning board doesn't because they're appointed. So therefore, the public meetings that we had over there were more informational, and if anybody really did express concerns, the planning board did not have to answer to those concerns, and we actually did see that. I mean, I had a couple of concerns. It fell on deaf ears. I had a couple of suggestions that fell on deaf ears. They do not have to respond to the public. But as elected officials, yes, you guys have to. And so I wrote this letter talking about, possibly giving the voice to the people by pushing the vote for this redevelopment plan till after the November election. I would assume you all read my letter, hopefully. If you haven't, it's in your packet, you can read it. So I mean, I'm just giving you food for thought whenever this comes up, but and I won't let it drop because it's the people's voice, and I would assume all the elected officials do cherish our voice out here as we express our concerns, our support, whatever we say. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing that this time, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda. Mayor?
You want to remove anything?
The 16-225, wasn't that being removed?
Oh, yeah. You can
Yes.
remove that.
Okay.
Correct.
And then
Good call.
I think, did you want to remove 229?
Two different things here, wait a minute.
That's the salary.
Oh, yeah, that one,
Okay.
yes.
Then I will state that, can I have a motion
And,
to?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
The only thing I want to bring up is the ordinance that was brought in late, that our team brought up for us to the.
Well, we can have that under,
Yeah, it's gonna come.
That's going to come after.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that one.
Yeah.
Cool.
okay, thank you. Okay, can I have a motion for the amended consent agenda?
So Mayor, just to clarify, this is the consent agenda with 16, 225, and 16...
229?
229 removed,
29. Okay.
as amended.
As amended, thank you.
I'll
Mr.
amend
Mayor.
my motion that we accept do the consent agenda as amended.
Thank you. Roll call, please,
Need a
Sarah.
second?
Second.
Okay. Councilman Kukrow.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco.
Aye.
And Council President Petrozelli.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so 1625 is deleted completely because we're not doing that
That's
ordinance.
correct.
Now,
Do I,
Mayor, you've got 16229.
okay, do I have a motion to adopt 229, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 16-229, Mayor.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Sarah.
Councilman Kukrow.
No.
I got kind of place to record this.
Okay, take your time.
Okay. Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco.
Aye.
And Council President Petrozelli.
Aye.
Okay, now we'll move on to resolutions deleted from the consent agenda. Resolution number 16-230.
Okay, I don't have to read it because I was able to insert it, but you got my explanation as to why it wasn't on the original agenda.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept 16-230?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Kukrow.
No.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco.
Aye.
And Council President Petrozelli.
Aye.
Moving on, do I have a motion for resolution 16-231?
It's not on
This one is just by way of explanation. I understand this is the licensees that didn't make their paperwork in time to be on the original list on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Renat. Hearing that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 16-231, Mayor.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Kukrow.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco.
Aye.
Council President Petrozelli.
Aye.
Okay, now we have resolution 16-232. I am going to read it in full because it's not, it's long, I apologize. A resolution in support of Senate Bill S. 2254 and Assembly Bill A. 3821, which affirms the legislative intent of the Fair Housing Act. Whereas the Borough of Garden supports the provision of affordable housing in a reasonable, rational, and achievable way consistent with economic realities and sound planning. And whereas pursuant to the March 2015 New Jersey Supreme Court order which transferred oversight of the Fair Housing Act to the courts, hundreds of municipalities filed declaratory judgment actions to voluntarily comply with their state-imposed affordable housing requirements. And whereas recently the Ocean County Superior Court included a distant gap period analysis retroactively over an additional 16-year period, separate and apart from the normal 10-year present and prospective need. And whereas the Fair Housing Act and an existing case law requires that present and prospective fair share of the housing need in a given shall be computed for a 10-year period, NJSA 52-27D-307C. And whereas the gap issue arises out of COA's inability to promulgate third-round regulations from 1999 to the present to make any final determination as to state and regional housing need, as well as constant litigation by certain groups. And whereas any retroactive gap obligations could have significant unfunded impacts on municipalities, may double count households under both present and prospective needs, and will likely result in forcing municipalities and their property taxpayers to subsidize development. And whereas Senate Bills S. 2254, sponsored by Senators Greenstein and Bateman, and Assembly Bill A. 3821, sponsored by Assemblymen D'Angelo and Benson, reaffirm the legislative intent of the Fair Housing Act so to preclude significant unfair impacts and instead progress toward a more rational statewide housing policy, including reasonable and achievable obligations for municipalities, facilitate municipal work compliance, and the provision of affordable housing. Most of. Now therefore be resolved on this 28th day of June 2016 by the Borough of Garden in the County of Union that, one, Garwood Borough strongly urges New Jersey legislators to reaffirm the legislative intent of the Fair Housing Act immediately and clarify that affordable housing need is the sum of present and prospective need for a 10-year period. Two, Garwood Borough supports Senate bill and Assembly bill. Three, copies of this resolution shall be distributed to the governor, league municipalities, and the representatives. That's all I have.
I have a motion for Resolution 16232.
I'll make a motion to
I'll
introduce.
second that.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco.
Aye.
And Council President Petrozelli.
Thank you, council. Payment of claims.
Be resolved that the following claims as approved be and the same are hereby ordered paid and properly signed and verified, and the payment of payrolls as listed is hereby confirmed and ratified.
Do you have a motion to adopt payment of claims resolution?
So moved, Mayor.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco. And Council President Petrozelli.
The regular meeting of the mayor and council will be held on Tuesday, July 12th, 2016, in council chambers at 7:15 p.m. Workshop will start at 7 p.m. There will be a public hearing in council chambers on ordinance number 16-12 and 16-13 on Tuesday,
No,
July...
no 12. No 12, Mayor. 12.
I stand corrected. On Tuesday, July 12th, 2016, at 7:15 p.m. or sooner thereafter. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, thank you.
Good.